Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're here today, episode 2767 of the Cabral Concept. If you want to follow along with today's questions, head on over to stephencabral.com/2767. These are our Cabral HouseCalls, where we answer our community's questions each and every weekend. Hopefully you got to tune into yesterday's show, which was 2766. Always feel free to tune back into previous podcasts at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right, let's get into the show here today, answering all of your wellness-based questions from an integrative health-based perspective. Again, can't provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis, but we can do better than that. We can actually figure out the underlying root causes to hopefully help you get well once and for all. All right, let's dive into the show. So the first one is from Emily. Emily says, I'm in my 20s. I've struggled with acne for over 10 years. It has always been deep, red, painful, consistent blemishes. I have consistently seen two separate naturopathic doctors, chiropractors during this time as well. We've looked at hormones, food sensitivities, even emotional-based healing. You name it, I've tried it, skincare included, yet my acne and skin congestion has continued to settle in and worsen. Now it scars as well. I now use gentle, minimal skincare. It affects my everyday life. It's hard to have hope that it will ever heal. Do you have any suggestions that I should do? I'm planning to begin my first detox program soon, which is one thing I've never done. I'm excited to add regular detoxing to my health journey. I know you wrote in a couple months back because we're typically about 10 to 12 weeks from answering your question just because of the queue in front of you, but that's exactly what I'd recommend. If your hormones are balanced, you don't have food sensitivities, you don't have high levels of stress, you're getting good nutrition and all that in your body, check out the book, The Rain Barrel Effect. You can find it at stephencabral.com. You can find it on Amazon. And detoxing very likely is the answer, honestly. It's very likely the answer. It is detoxing, doing an intestinal cleanse, most likely for the intestines, and for the liver, which is the functional medicine detox. And so you can find that at stephencabral.com/shop. You can just literally type in detox and you'll be able to find it there. It's been used by hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. And you most likely want to do a 21-day with the included fasting. And that's absolutely what I would do. Absolutely what I would do. And I would definitely start there because you need to open up the liver detox pathways, the bile pathways, etc. Lymphatic pathways, doing rebounding would be a big thing that I would do. Doing sauna I would just open up those detox pathways. 21-day functional medicine detox, do the intestinal cleanse as part of it, use a sauna, use dry brushing, use a rebounder, get the lymphatic system moving. And then if we need to, we'll wait a while after the functional medicine detox, the 21-day, and then we might even do a juice-based cleanse, which is not a detox. Juicing is not detoxing, it's cleansing, which is fine and it's good. But it basically is it's a system rest of just getting in basically pre-digested nutrients into the body. And it won't be a long time as well, but that might be 2 to 3 weeks as well, a couple months after the functional medicine detox, or maybe even a month after. So that's what I would do for the worst of the worst acne cases. That's how we fix it after we look at the hormones and everything else you did. So as long as you know that your hormones are balanced, because it's very important that you make sure your hormones are balanced, that you don't have estrogen dominance, that you might need to use a product called estrogen balance. Yeah, that's what, and lots of cruciferous vegetables as well to help balance that. Okay. It very likely could be this last answer. So let's check that out. All right, Kelsey's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a bit of a complex question. In 2013, I got very sick with Campylobacteriosis. 10 years later, my rain barrel is starting to show overflowing symptoms via the skin. I've read that migrating motor complex can be damaged with this type of infection by targeting the vinculin protein, thus causing digestive issues. I'm curious if your detox CBO protocol plus Venature is the best route here, and if adding 1 day a week of dry fasting could be healing. Thanks so much. Okay, so just like I recommended for Emily, there are specific protocols and then there's foundational protocols. We start all of our protocols with 99% of people with the 21-day functional medicine detox. So yes, that's what we do first. Then after that, we would be doing, and this just is based on the individual, a 12 to 16 hour overnight fast. So Emily, this would be for you as well. Hopefully you're still tuning into the show. So every single night, again, from let's say 6 p.m. at night to 8 o'clock in the morning, that's 14 hours. Most people find that to be an acceptable intermittent fast overnight. What you may want to do if you're open to it, Kelsey, is you could certainly do a 24-hour, which I do. I try to do on Mondays, which is Sunday night. I have dinner with my family, and then Monday night I have dinner with my family. And then in between that on Monday, I'm just doing what I call my 1-day reset diet. You can look that up. It's a podcast as well with all free information, and it comes with a PDF, I believe. Or I'm just doing water fasting. So however I want to do it, typically I'm doing some teas as well. But that's it. Okay, so, but we don't know, like the thing is, we don't know that you have any specific issues based on the previous infection that you had. So like that's the thing is, I would run the bacterium parasite stool test if I thought there was still an issue. If there isn't an issue, because I don't know that there is, because you're seeing skin issues, but it may have nothing to do with it because it was 10 years ago. So I just don't like to guess. I guessed for like 3 years before starting on a protocol to help me start to get well. And it was a waste of 3 years. It really was. And it was frustrating, and I was disappointed, and I was angry, and I was upset that I wasn't getting better. In my opinion, like even if we're just going to run one lab, Kelsey, would be the bacterium parasite stool test. You can find that at stephencabral.com/shop. And again, you never have to buy anything from Equalife, but we do ship all over the world, and you get the results with our practitioners and a plan of what to do. But you can also work with an integrative health practitioner at integrativehealthpractitioner.org, level 2, or you can work with your local naturopathic doctor. So like, I'm always okay with that. I just want to make it easy for people to find out what's the best route for them. Because yeah, the detox, again, I can't give you any medical advice, but probably be the first place to start. And then, yeah, I probably would do the CBO plus the finisher, but I don't know that that's what's causing your skin-based issues, because I don't know if there's any imbalances within the gut. So I know I can't be super helpful on this, but hopefully it was at least a good place to get started. Lewis is up next. Lewis says, "Hi, Dr. Ball. I've written in before regarding hyperparathyroidism and hypercalcemia. It was advised that I might have excess adrenal stress. Since then, they found a adenoma, apologies, in my upper left parathyroid gland. By the time you read this, I would have likely had it removed, but I have a few questions. What can you advise as far as post-operative care besides what the doctors usually recommend? I would rather not take Tums or calcium carbonate. What sorts of complications can I expect having one of the glands out? Lastly, do you think could have caused this, or what do you think could have caused this? And what can be done to prevent another from forming? The only thing I can add is that I was working a third shift. I returned to day shift a year ago while being on a keto diet during the time I started to get my symptoms. Thanks." Okay. So the thing is, these types of tumors or cysts can grow over a number of years. So again, like, I don't always want you to think, oh, what did I do over the last year? It could be years in the making. The other thing is, we don't always know all the toxins that we're exposed to. So it's very difficult to say what caused it. What I can say is that intermittent fasting can be very helpful. Functional medicine detoxes every quarter can be very helpful. Taking things like either pancreatic enzymes or proteolytic enzymes can be very helpful. Getting in more of what we talk about in high performance health, which is early detection plus a longevity-based diet, can be very helpful. Getting your exercise, all these things, again, can be very helpful. All right, in terms of, so basically when someone has a parathyroid gland out, you really want to look at how does it balance calcium, magnesium, phosphorus inside of the body. And so one of the things that we typically recommend is first just making sure that everything is balanced. Like when you have blood work done, you'll be able to say, okay, what's my calcium, my magnesium, my phosphorus levels look like? If they look pretty good, then typically you're pretty good. But most people, again, even people who have their parathyroid glands, when we look at it, we're typically always supplementing with CalMag Complete and a full spectrum magnesium if extra magnesium is needed. So that's not abnormal for any person, to do. So I just want to share that with you. Again, I can't give you any medical advice. Only your doctor would be able to give you that advice on what to do. But based on blood work that you have run, and then based on your supplementation, I think you're going to be able to find the perfect synergy between that calcium and magnesium for you. Okay. Looks like Bindi or Bindi is up next. It's B-I-N-D-I. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm an IHP with you and so grateful for all that you offer to the community. Thanks, Bindi. It's great to have you. I have a question on wellness tech. What are your thoughts on bioresonance devices like Healy and any bio-tracking wearable recommendations specifically for women? I'm an IHP specialized in women's hormonal health and would love to see more wearables and research data on women's bodies. The menstrual cycle and doesn't make her vitals look like she's dying when pregnant with the Oura Ring. Haha. What are your fave bio-tracking wearables and any ones that you've heard of that are excellent for women? Okay, yeah, really great question. So I'm actually looking at bioresonance machines right now. I've used them in the past. I was actually at the World Medical Health Organization. I apologize that I'm not remembering the exact forum right now. Back about, well, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was, 3 years ago now, 2020. So I got to speak with a lot of the inventors and makers of these devices over in Germany. And I've liked looking at them for many years. I've used a few, not in my personal practice, but in practices or wellness centers that I've gone to. I can't give you a definitive answer yet because I can give you anecdotal research that some people seem to get good results from them. But the truth is that I really like research behind them, and I'd love to be able to see the mechanism and the research as to what's being affected by that. So more to come on that. So definitely stay tuned. In terms of wearables, if you're an IHP, I know that you will love High Performance Health. So we go into wearables in depth there, advanced biohacking, healthy biohacking, of course, and much more. So I review all of them. The ones that I keep going back to are the Hanu. And these are all at stephencabral.com/resources. You can also find them at highperformancehealth.org/resources. And so the ones that, again, I always go back to, basically, I think in the end, I always say that the Apple Watch is going to win. But for right now, they are not the winner. And the winners are the Hanu for the HRV detection, the Oura Ring for overall sleep. And those are the best ones that I've seen as of right now. I wear a Garmin, I've worn an Apple Watch, but again, if I'm looking at like the two best, those are them. And then in terms of deeper vitals, I use the Thea continuous glucose monitor. I don't use it all the time, but I typically like to wear it for 2 weeks. And when I'm first, giving a recommendation to someone, I typically say 30 days. So you can really find out what meals and everything's working for you to make sure your blood sugar comes back down to normal levels within 2 to 3 hours after a meal. So I'm giving those recommendations. And then for women's wearables, I like to use the conjunction of those. But there are devices that I'm looking into right now, which are more fertility based. So they're more hormonal based, and they're actually worn like a continuous glucose monitor. So more to come on those too. I can't give you any great ones that I've seen as of yet. There are some apps that I recommend. There's different things like that, but they all tie into Apple Health or Oura Ring. So they're not unique as and unto themselves. I wish I could give you a better answer. I'm constantly researching, and I'm always happy to look into other devices, which, like on my desk, I've got all sorts of devices here that have not made it to the Friday Review podcast yet, but they certainly will be. All right. Thank you, Bindi, for writing in. I appreciate you being a part of the integrative health practitioner community as well. All right, Audrey's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Why do studies show that just walking can reduce all-cause mortality and dementia? Why not running or biking or weightlifting? Thank you for freely sharing your valuable knowledge. All right, so 2 parts to this is one, I go over this in depth for anti-aging, reducing all-cause mortality, and reducing dementia and Alzheimer's, and even reversing it in High Performance Health. So not enough people know about this. I think it is, in my opinion, it is life-changing. Like, it's going to add another 10 to 20 years to a person's life. It really will. It's no doubt about it. And I literally guarantee that. So you can find it at highperformancehealth.org. It's worth your time. It really is. I truly believe that. I would never make a recommendation that I don't feel is worth your time. And of course, I guarantee everything that I do. But I do give away everything that I learn, that I've seen over 25 years of private practice and hundreds of thousands of people working with them. It is all free, and I try to give that away on the podcast. So what I want to share with you is that a lot of times they talk about walking, and I talk about walking, reducing all-cause mortality. And I talk about that because it's accessible for most people. Not all people, I understand that, totally get it, but maybe some people could bike instead. And so we'll talk about that. So all it is a baseline. It's a metric of getting into basically zone 1 to zone 2 cardio. And I've talked about that on previous shows. That 7,500 steps to 10,000 steps a day, which is the equivalent to about an hour and a half of walking a day, just broken up throughout the day, is enough to reduce all-cause mortality by like over 30%. It's absolutely amazing. Now, the nice thing is you can also get that through running, biking, not as much weightlifting, believe it or not. Now, weightlifting does other things for you. Okay, weightlifting does other things. But when we're looking at increasing telomere length and improving all-cause mortality, weightlifting helps. There's just no doubt about that. I'm not denying it. People should do it 2 to 3 times a week. You can do it more if you want, but 2 to 3 times a week. I talk about that in High Performance Health. But it's the cardiovascular aspect, the aerobic aspect, that actually has a tremendous effect on anti-aging and reducing all-cause mortality. The weightlifting, great for metabolism, great for strengthened bones, great for hormones, great for growth hormone production, like so much. But if we're looking at all-cause mortality, blue zones, we're looking at like scientific research, running, biking, walking, absolutely. That without a doubt, like just without a doubt. So no, I appreciate you bringing that up. It's just not as easy to do a study with anything other than walking, right? For large segments of the population. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. We're going to keep it at that for today. I know we've got a lot more questions to answer. I'll be back, of course, each and every weekend answering your questions. If the show is helpful, do feel free to pass it along to anyone you believe it could serve, and I will be back tomorrow with a brand new start to the Cabral concept. Take care, everybody. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.